Hello there, my beautiful thinking people. It's just your host from Avocation X. It's Clyde Phillips Sr. And I'm coming to you today with an original story, one I haven't touched on. And I can say it's a world life issue. And it's something that we all need to start paying attention to, because whether we believe it or not, whether we've learned the lessons or not, the things that we ignore always come back to visit us. When we think, it couldn't happen to us, then it does. So remember that while you go through this video. But before we begin, hit the like button, subscribe, become a member, share our videos around. Let's get the algorithm beat down. So this is a special segment for 1585ers and those who wish to join that club. Wait, did you hit the like button yet? Because there's a huge portion of you folks who are watching and don't hit the like button. But you keep watching. And yeah, every once in a while I do go in and I see who is watching. And it would be really nice to see you all subscribe. If you all subscribed, we'd be over the hump and we'd be on our way to reaching so many more people. The algorithms are pretty tough to beat. This is a little story about a little country that should. A little country that we hope can. And that we hope will. And the leader of that country is one special human being. One that I'm sure once you do a little more deep dive, because, we do our own research, unlike those people who try to tell you you're dumb to do your own research. No, actually research increases your intellect, increases your ability to discern and make informed and proper decisions down the road. So let's get into the facts here. We have a little country out there that has been struggling for many, many, many years. And no matter what they do, it doesn't seem like anything's going to work. Every time they turn around, even though they have nothing, it just seems that a whole whack of people seem to be bent on taking the little they do have. They don't go to a country that has a lot to offer. They go to a country who has hidden wealth. So what country am I talking about? It's a country that changed its name to Burkina Faso. And the person who is right now heading up that country is Ibrahim Traoré. I probably butchered his name, but I'm sure he'll forgive me. So Ibrahim is a military captain. And as a captain, he's earned the respect of the military cohorts, all of them. Not all of them. Let's say the vast majority of them. So through the conversations that go on amongst the military cohorts, they decided that the person who is in charge of their country, this is before Ibrahim Traoré, was not serving the needs of the people. They seem to be serving a different master. And as you know, when you enter the realm of politics, you are to become a servant to the people, not their dictator. So this individual seemed to be serving outside concerns rather than his own people. The country itself was actually quite rich, but hidden riches. People were scouring for those hidden riches and sending them out of the country. But somebody had to receive those. And they knew they were receiving them, didn't they? So, put in the comments below, what do you think about people who would be stealing from another country in a covert way while that country sat poor? What would you think of those individuals who were stealing from a poor country? So the country itself was rich, but the people were being kept poor by their leaders. Now, when we say leaders, people need to understand, if you are a leader, that means you show the way. If they're poor, shouldn't you be poor? If they're struggling, shouldn't you be struggling and leading them out of the struggle? Isn't that what a leader is supposed to do? Well, they ended up with a leader who was leading them down the path to ruin, while enriching himself and his family members and others. And who were those others? Do you think maybe it was Russia? Russia? Or do you think it was China? China? Or do you think it was maybe others in the West? Maybe in particular, France. So let's see. Let's begin with this. France has colonized a number of partitioned areas of the continent we call Africa. They colonized them. They brutalized them. They raped them. They stole from them. They did everything possible to enrich themselves on the suffering of these colonies. And even when these colonies were given what they called sovereignty, what a joke. So the currency that they were using was called the CFA franc, which was a division straight out of France. And France made it mandatory that any foreign exchange funds that you got had to be deposited in their banks. And for that, they gave you these CFA francs, 50% of the parent value of your foreign exchange, which means you sold things abroad, the money that came in went into the French banks, and you were allowed to have 50% of it. You're following me, right? They grew the crops or made the products, shipped them out, and when they got paid, the money went to France. And if you wanted your money, you only got 50%. And it was given to you in this currency, CFA franc. What happened to the rest of it? Oh, wait, no, you could attain some of that other 50% in the way of a loan that had to be paid back with interest. You were borrowing your own money and paying it back with interest. This is what was going on in these French colonies. So what did they do? They started watching what, who, where, when, and how. And they figured out that Bazoum, he was apparently elected, and you know how elections go in many countries. And if they can't go that way, what do? They just kill the leader. And then you have to allow their anointed jackarse to take control of your country and steal even more from you and give you nothing that you need to survive. So this is the way it went in Burkina Faso and Mali and Niger, Chad, and many others. There was a whole center of Africa called the Sahel region. Some of those members were part of the Sahel region. And they kind of grouped together in a confederation that helped them to cooperate and fight against these invisible terrorists. Invisible because you couldn't find them. Because they probably weren't there until they were needed to go and cause mayhem and cause upheaval. And then France said, "Have no fear, France is here. We're going to protect you against those terrible, marauding murderers who are just raping and killing your people and disrupting their farming. And yeah, we got your back." Yeah, didn't seem like they were taking care of anybody, because every time you turned your back, they were back. Killing, marauding, raping, and pillaging. And France was, "Have no fear, we've got your back. We're going after them right now. Yes, my friend, we got your back." Yeah, They were behind your back, is what they were. Because you know what else they were doing? They would drop the weapons in an area where these marauding, murdering, raping, pillaging individuals were told where to find the weapons. They would go get the weapons and go off and do their thing, and then probably were transported out of there so they didn't have to kill them. They can reuse them over and over again. Now, some of what I'm telling you is partial speculation, but a lot of it is backed up in evidence and fact, which was not allowed to be presented to United Nations. Why do you think that would be? The complaint was made. The evidence was told. They said, and we have the receipts, but we're never able to present it. No action was taken against Mr. Macron and his cohorts. They got away with abusing these people over and over again. Are you okay with that? Really? Are you okay with that? No, really. Are you okay with that? I'm not. And so many others were not either. So what did they do? They got rid of the Bazoum, robber of money. They got rid of Macron, the little weasel from France, who had their back. And guess what? They went out and made progress on their own. They, using equipment and help from abroad that they paid for, they spotted some of these people, took them out, cut off their escape, made them pay. Since then, guess what? They're still finding caches of weapons recently dropped. So therefore, those weapons were dropped in an area where the people who were going to be transported in would have been able to find them. But their investigations turned up these weapons, and they brought it to the attention of the world. United Nations, hunk of junk. United Nations Security Council, everything they do there is bull crap. They are manipulated and used by the U.S. government. That's all they are. They're a rubber stamp to the U.S. government. Whatever they say goes. And if they don't say anything, United Nations does nothing. Nothing. Do you ever notice, folks, that anything that is to help anybody else in the world that goes through United Nations gets vetoed by who? Not China, not Russia, not any of these other places. US, all the time. If it's going to help another country, if it's going to stop people from being slaughtered, maimed, oh, no, US decides we're going to veto that. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the US. I really do. And I love a lot of the people that I have encountered in and from the US. But I can't stand your politicians, not one of them. I used to really think that there was one who showed promise and hope. And he's been partially co-opted. He's not totally corrupt yet like the rest, but he has been partially co-opted. His silence on many issues shows that they basically said, here's a bone, go chew on it in the corner. And if you don't, we're going to take that carrot away. Maybe we'll bring out a stick. I don't know the exact conversations, but Bernie Sanders changed his stripes midstream and totally blew away any hope I had for honest, principled politicians in the US. Now, this may really rub you the wrong way, but I don't really give a damn. Rand Paul, who I never appreciated, never liked him, never thought he was anything but just a rubber stamp to the Republican Party. He all of a sudden started to talk out loud and clear with receipts. Now, he's no Bernie Sanders or previous Bernie Sanders. He's not even the current Bernie Sanders. But, wow, has he ever come far from where he used to be? So I can listen to him. And what he says is usually held up with receipts. People, interviews, their actual words coming out of their mouth. Bills presented by actual politicians that he brings to the front and center for us to be able to see openly and clearly. This is the kind of politicians we need. If there's corruption going on in and around them, they need to call it out. You know how we talk about police officers and we go, oh, there's only a few bad apples. Why are you not calling out the bad apples? There's only a few. That means the majority of you are not bad apples, right? Well, remember something. I know a lot of yous. A lot of yous. And if you're watching right now, you know I do. And I can tell you right now, folks, by my estimation and the people that I've met, 1 in 10, that's not a few. Approximately 1 in 10 are bad apples. Very easy to see bad apples, but nobody's turning them in. And do you want to know why? Because 1 in 10 is a big number. And if you speak up, you're not even sure if the other 9 around you are not part of that 1 in 10. So you're kind of afraid. You don't want to be out there and have somebody watching your back while a guy comes running up with a gun and your partner turns the other way. Till he hears the bang, turns around and goes, oh my gosh, what happened? He probably knew what happened. So that's why a lot of good police officers keep their mouth shut. Not that it's right, but I hope you can understand. Remember what Dave Chappelle said about O.J. Simpson? He said, oh, my God. Not that I'm saying that he's innocent or anything. He goes, who am I to judge? He goes, but when your girl starts to this and this and that, he goes, I don't condone it, but I definitely understand. So when it comes to the police, you don't have to condone it, but at least understand. The corruption needs to be held accountable by us. Politicians need to be held accountable by each and every one of us. And believe me, folks, as we sit by and we watch other people be decimated by these politicians, it's only a matter of time before we become the targets. And why, you ask? Why would I ever become a target? I have nothing to hide. I don't do anything wrong. Well, have you noticed the way the traffic laws have been working over the last 2 decades? We need to bring this law front and center to avoid this situation, which has been terrible. And everybody agrees, right? Yeah, we all agree that's terrible, that's terrible. Okay, anybody doing this is going to get this. We're going to put a stop to this right now. And you all think, hey, you know what? They're going to put a stop to that. So we're behind them. Oh, they put a stop to that. Now they're up there saying, well, now, guess what? There's this going on, and it's terrible. It's worse than the last thing. We need your backing so we can do this to those people. Yeah. Give them permission. Yeah, let them go do that. Because those people are horrible. They're terrible. Did you know that yesterday they were just your family members and friends? And this wasn't a crime? Now all of a sudden you've allowed them to make it a crime. Why? Because they ran out of the other idiots to throw away. Now they need new targets. If you're not noticing that, folks, you are very soon going to become a target. Yeah, keep your head in the sand. What you're going to find is the sand turns to cement. and you're not going to get your head out. Do you think I'm being harsh? Oh, heck no. No, it's harsh when you turn your back on your fellow human beings and allow them to be abused and used inappropriately in any way. You know, you've been really, really accustomed to knowing that anybody who sexually maligns another person is just a horrible human being, right? Do you all agree on that, or some of you think it's okay? Yeah, I know, some of you do think it's okay. You're getting jailed daily for the fact that you've been doing some things that just are inappropriate. Hey, you know what? You do you, but accept your consequences, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? You have the freedom to choose, and you also have the freedom to accept your consequences for your choices. I think that's only fair. So why don't we hold police, politicians, and everybody to the same standard? Oh, you remember that? What did they say? Oh yeah, nobody's above the law, right? Except those who are chosen to be above the law. Why would anybody be chosen to be above the law? Why would your president, prime minister, justice minister, attorney general, why would any of them be above the law? Tell me that. Go ahead, please, in the comments. Tell me why anybody on this earth should be above the law. No, I'm not having it. So here's what I got to say to you on this note. Stand up, folks. Stand up. Stand up. Please stand up. Not for me. I'm not in trouble. For all the people, all the people out there being abused, being mistreated, having their riches stolen, even when they have only tiny riches. And something else I want to ask you. Please, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, share these videos with everyone you know. We need to beat the algorithm. And you know what else I want? I want you to stay safe. I want you to stay healthy. And I want you to stay as happy as humanly possible. And I want you to also wish that on all the people that I've been talking about in this video. Remember, we never give up. We never give in, but we'll always keep an open mind, because that's the only way we gather knowledge, and knowledge is the only power we'll ever have. With knowledge comes power. Remember, I love you all. Talk to you soon.